Here I am again. So I thought I'd make another video because I thought this might be useful to other people. It's been it's been a learning experience for me, certainly. I now know how the internal structures of a 1991 Fiat Ducato motorhome are put together, and all of the terrible design flaws of those vehicles. So I've pulled a lot of wood out, I have to say. I'm going to flick it round now so that you're not looking at me and you're looking at actually what I'm trying to show you. So I'm not sure what happened to mine, but I'm pretty sure, well, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty confident that it's basically a case that this piece of wood here is a replacement, which I know that to be true, and the piece above it is a replacement. They were put in by the previous owner, or possibly the previous owner plus one. But there's some bolts here, you see, sticking out. There's 4 of them, and they went into another piece of wood which was also damp, because the repairs that were done were not done properly. And what I think happened is somebody must have been leaning on this corner when it failed, and this piece of wood, this piece of metal, this piece of metal, which is obviously the complete base here of the bed area, I think that slipped down, and that pulled this end here slightly forward, which it's quite hard to get it pushed back in, but it looks like it's been pushed back in, although the grouting is a little bit off. But anyway, that's not important because everything is lined up perfectly. But this bit here, there was a few tack welds along here, and then obviously there's the screws, and then there's the aluminium brace underneath, which I've undone. The piece of wood that was there, again, completely rotten. So I've got a brand new roll of 50 feet, which is obviously way too much, but I'll use it for the roof rails as well, probably, of mastic tape. And I'm going to put a piece of that from the edge there all the way along to the other edge. And then I shall sandwich this piece underneath this piece, and then get the rail underneath, and then one of these bits of wood, not this one, it's not long enough, on the top there, and then screw that all back together, and that will be watertight for a very long time. I don't know if I said before, but I'm really lucky that a really wonderful neighbour who runs a construction company, he had some out-of-date sealant. Now be careful with out-of-date sealant, because I had found out that some of it takes longer to go off than other canisters of it, and some of it was already going off in the canisters. So I got it for free, so I was happy to use it. But just be mindful that if you've got mastic lying around, just check. Even if it's unopened, it can go off. But anyway, I have a lot of mastic. So what I've done is I've masticed all of this wood into place. There aren't any screws in it yet, but everything's bonded in place, and I have to say it's very strong, very, very strong. The grip that this stuff provides on the sides of the aluminium and the wood is really, really good, to the point that actually I don't know that putting nails or screws into it is really that important, but nonetheless I will, going along the top edge, or going down from the roof I should say, because I'm going to remove those plastic runners that slide into the rails that cover the screws, because they've all dried out, and I'm going to seal with sealant that little gully. And I'm sure some people will say, well, you shouldn't do that because you'll never be able to get them off again. I don't plan to get them off again. This vehicle, this is its, let's call it this is the last major renovation this vehicle's going to have, I think, because we don't plan to sell it. We plan to keep it, and we plan to keep using it. If I really had to, I could get the screws out. One of my thoughts is, and I'll probably do this, is to get a little file and mark on the aluminium railing wherever I've screwed a screw in, so that if I really had to undo them any time in the future, I would know where the screws are located underneath that rubber, and I could unscrew them easily without having to dig all the rubber out. So that makes sense, and obviously the filing marks on the rails won't go anywhere ever. It's been quite a project, I have to say, but it's been very good for my mental health, so there's a plus. I'm really pleased to have had so much of that stuff, because as you can see, that doesn't look great from here, but believe me, it's not bad at all. That amount of mastic going up into the crevices all the way along, and then soaking those wooden battens with the same stuff and pushing them into place, and then propping them in, bracing them with wood to push them up against the sides while it went off, has created very strong edges to the roof. My plan obviously is to screw lots more wood into place. There needs to be some vertical bracing on this, so I'm going to remove that piece of zoom out here, that piece of polystyrene, and then put some vertical bracing in there, screw that all together. Everything I do, I bond onto the side of the walls as well, because it just adds a little bit more strength. It doesn't look pretty, but bear in mind, if you pulled the walls off your plasterboard, or plastering off the walls of your house wouldn't look pretty either, so I'm not worried about that. And it will all be covered with tongue and groove. That's what we've decided to do. The ceiling's getting done with PVC siding. I've seen another van locally that's had that done. It looks fantastic. And of course, PVC does not get damp and rot, so if there was a leak in the roof, which there shouldn't be, it's not really, well, it shouldn't be possible by the time we're done with all of the mastic. Yeah, when that's the reason for using the PVC. Sorry, brain's drifting there. But I've also I've left this piece in place. I've taken the wood off the sides there. It's just again polystyrene running from that side edge there all the way across. But along the top here, again, it's bonded in place with this what's it called? Let's have a look. It's called this C60 sealant, low modulus silicon black. It's good, very strong stuff, I have to say. I've also used it, I'll swing round here, oh, on the ceiling. I mean, God, it looks bad, guys and girls. But everything is bonded in place. I haven't dealt with that one yet, but that one is bonded in place, and the one beyond it is bonded in place, and they're just they're literally being held up by the sealant at the moment. I'm going to screw some supports in over there. We've got some metal little L-shaped plates that I'm going to use to screw that into the side of that one that's bonded to the wall. I had to also dig out some holes above the cabinet here, see, because I'm not removing all these cabinets, and that side wall on that side is perfectly fine, has no damp issues. So I dug out some there. Obviously there's ply above the cupboard, and then there's this polystyrene, then there's ply again on the other side of the polystyrene. So I just removed the polystyrene so I can slide. I just dug it out with a screwdriver or Anyway, it doesn't matter what it was. Dug it out, and I can slide another one of these bits of wood into there, all the way across to there, and that will mean I've got extra roof bracing, because obviously it's 2023 and I'd like to add some solar panels to the roof of this, and I'd like it to be, you know, strong enough to cope with the multiple heavy cats that keep jumping on the roof. But that's not really the reason. The reason is the solar panels I want to put on the roof ultimately. And while I've got everything open and available to get to, why not, there you go, see me again, why not do that? Makes sense. You know, it's an easy thing to do while everything's dismantled. So maybe it's overkill, but I'm putting probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 probably support battens going across the main part of the roof. There's 2 more there, which makes 9, and then obviously whatever goes over the shower, but there isn't much going on over there because it's pretty much supported by the shower walls and the cupboards there. But I might put 8 or 9 up, to be honest with you, because I've got the wood. I might as well. And the stronger it is, the better. It's been an epic journey. I did not expect to have to do all this. Honestly, when I bought it, it had been wallpapered by the previous owner. I don't know why. They thought that would be sensible, but they did. Got that all off quite easily, actually, because it was only stuck on with bits of glue. I said that in my last video. And the intention is to make this modernized and better than it was when it was first constructed. All the wood I'm using, by the way, is outdoor treated wood, so that gives it an additional level of protection if there was any kind of a leak, which there, like I said, there shouldn't be. Yeah, so there we go. That's what I've done so far. Looks awful, doesn't it? Looks absolutely shocking. But when it's finished, it's going to look fabulous, and that's the point. Certainly don't have the kind of money. I mean, we went looking at some motorhomes not so long ago, and you know, I don't have 20, 30, 40, 50, 80, 150,000 to spend on one of these. But what I do have is this one, and I'm 6'5" and I can stand up in this no problem. It's got a shower, it's got a toilet. That was actually why we bought it, actually. We go to France, to the north of France, pretty regularly, several times a year. And at one end of the beach, there's cafes and bars and so on. And at the other end of the beach, there is a public toilet, which is only open to the public if there's somebody to man it. And the last time we went there was nobody to man it, and kind of ruined. We like being down there, and that's where all the sporting activities take place. You know, you can watch the horse riding and paragliding and all that. You know, the beach sailing, all those fun things they do. I don't know what they're called, but you know, those people that race around on go-karts with a parachute. All the fun things happen, and also it's not so busy down that end in terms of the public, and it's just nice up there. And the issue we had was we'd go there, and like I said, if there was no toilet, I mean, we've had this problem several times when we've gone up there. Where, you know, you're in a group of 4 people, someone's going to need the loo eventually, and you know, there's no easy way of getting down the other end now of them driving back out and through the town. 10 minutes later, you're at the toilets. So I really wanted to to fix that problem first of all. And this does that, because it was funny when we were there last time. I said there's a toilet here and it's locked, but there were also another 15 toilets parked all the way along the beachfront that belong to the people who own those motorhomes, and they don't have a problem. So that kind of, it wasn't the only reason, but it was a driver for me. The other thing is, of course, you know, we were staying in quite cheap hotels out there, and you know, they were okay, but one of the things that wasn't okay was the bed. Were always premier class hotels, the beds are just so uncomfortable. So I wanted to fix that too, and so did my wife Andrea. So that's why we've got a very nice Dormeo memory foam double mattress to go up the cabin. Fits really well, and that's going to be super comfortable. It's also nice, as you all know, to have your own home comforts, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this thing finished. But you know, I just wanted to say this is what I've been up to. This is how I've tackled this project.